When Jack got home, David was busy working on his sewing machine. He saw it as the tool that would one day help him make a living. At night, Jack worked on his homework while David watched a movie nearby. Seeing David lying on the floor, Jack got up and helped straighten out his mattress. David seemed upset. He asked Jack why he was still doing that job. Jack casually replied that he didn't like it, but he didn't hate it either. That only confused David even more. Jack went on to say, if you really want to become a designer, then go back to school and study properly. There's nothing I can do for you here. Seeing David looking both angry and stubborn, Jack couldn't help putting an arm around his shoulders. Then he kissed his small, slender body. Since they had already started kissing, why stop there? But to Jack's surprise, David pushed him away. Just then, one of Jack's classmates opened the door and walked in. That finally brought the awkward moment to an end. That night, Jack slept on the bed. His classmates slept on the floor, and David lay on a mattress nearby. But David couldn't fall asleep. He took out the photo of Jack that he had secretly hidden and burned it. In silence, he swore that he would never like Jack again. By the time Jack woke up the next morning, David had already left. Then Jack received a call from an older female student. He went over to help her family move some things. Afterward, her mother warmly insisted that Jack stay for dinner. Jack was so nervous that he couldn't bring himself to refuse. But it wasn't because her family was overly welcoming. It was because her father was actually one of Jack's former clients. He was the same man who had once said that girls were boring creatures, and the older student had told Jack before that her father loved her very much. The client had clearly recognized Jack too. He kept pretending to be busy, crouching in a corner, and refusing to look up. During dinner, he couldn't stop sweating. Jack was genuinely terrified. Both men felt completely helpless, but the older student and her mother didn't notice anything strange. The client kept sweating non-stop. Maybe Jack was too nervous, or maybe he found the man disgusting. Either way, Jack suddenly threw up. After leaving Jack's place, David went to see Lisa. He asked her to keep his sewing machine for him. Judging by the situation, he was probably planning to go back to work. Ever since Lisa found out what he did for a living, she had been quietly angry with him. Pretending not to care, Lisa asked how far things had gone between him and Jack. David refused to admit the truth. I don't like him anymore, he said. I was never serious about him in the first place. Of course, Lisa knew he was lying, so she simply went along with it. That's probably for the best. It seemed Lisa already knew what kind of work David did. David stopped asking questions, packed up his things, and prepared to leave. That day, Jack arrived at the club for work. His boss told him that a client had requested someone else, so Jack went to the hotel to see what was going on. It turned out David had gotten into an argument with the client. Jack had barely sat down when David tried to leave, but the client forcefully ordered him to stay. It looked like Jack would have to deal with the situation himself. Then both Jack and David were told to take off their clothes. To their surprise, the client asked them to hold each other, but Jack still pushed David away. They had never met a client like this before. Both of them were frightened, but in truth, the man didn't seem all that bad. He was thinking about someone he had secretly loved. In the end, his point was simple. Love between two men could feel completely hopeless. Nothing happened that night. At the first light of dawn, Jack and David walked through the city. As it slowly came back to life, after everything they had been through, they finally let go of their earlier resentment. David suggested that Jack should raise his price. After all, he was so handsome. Jack said he would think about it. Then David slowed down. He shaped his fingers like a camera and pretended to take a picture of Jack. It was his way of replacing the photo he had burned that night.